education. All right? You got to educate yourself. So I'm glad some of you all were able to come to all the classes. And who hasn't seen the money map? Anybody hasn't seen it? No, everybody's seen it. Great. That's great. So tonight, we're going to focus on this part right here. Number 5, start investing for retirement, college fund, leave a legacy, enjoy financial freedom, plan wealth management and distribution. Okay, this is for the people who have matured in their finances, right? Because it's going to be very tough. If you're trying to work on saving $1,000, you're going to be torn apart because you're like, should I put it in savings or should I buy some crypto or some stocks? Can't buy much real estate with that, but you know. So again, it's a journey. Don't get discouraged wherever you're at. Just be patient with yourself. The Bible says in Proverbs, there's a time and a season for everything. Okay, so be patient with yourself, with your family. Just set those goals. Set your short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term goals, and find a pace for yourself and your family, and go after it. Go and achieve your goals. Trust God in every step. That's the theme that I've been telling you throughout these past 4 lessons. Trust God. Pray. Do your budget. Build up your savings and start investing. That's very important. So this class today, I'm going to give you perspective because the theme is investing and how to beat inflation. Okay, how many of you guys have heard about inflation lately? Okay, a lot of us, right? If you haven't, just go to the gas station and you'll see that gas has gone up a little bit, right? So how do we beat inflation? I'm going to give you perspective on why is it that we get inflation, and then I'm going to give you solutions. Because one of the things I've learned from my pastor is, look, we give you good news, okay? We give you good advice, we give you good news, we give you an optimistic outlook about life. And so in order for you to understand, I have to cover some things like the big problem that creates much of inflation. There is approximately $40 trillion in circulation. This includes all the physical money and the money deposited in savings and checking accounts. You probably have a checking account, you probably have a savings account, right? Are you with me?
Yes.
Remember, today I didn't even go into, hey, get up and do your I love, I'm loved, I'm blessed, all that, because I need time, okay? But hopefully over the last 3 classes you've learned that you're loved, you're valuable, God loves you, and He wants you to win in life, every area, every aspect, okay? So there is about $40 trillion in circulation, okay? Money in the form of investments, derivatives, and cryptocurrencies exceeds about 1.3 quadrillion, okay? Now I'm talking globally, so please, like I told you, the emoji, right? It's going to happen a few times during the class. This is all the money in circulation, okay? In dollars, in British pounds, in pesos, euros. You know the world's bigger than the U.S., right?
Right.
We don't stop at the U.S. dollar. There's Japanese yen. There's a lot of currencies, okay? So this is big macro. What the big money calls it, this is a macro view. Okay, you're looking at the entire world. So stay with me. That's the problem, okay? Let me break it down a little bit more of why that is a problem. We have $40 trillion problem in the world called fiat money, okay? What is fiat money? Is the dollar, is the euro, is the Mexican peso, the Japanese yuan, the British pound, all that. Called fiat money, US dollars, Mexican pesos. Again, I just described all that. Countries all over the world are printing more money. That is a problem. Calling it quantitative easing, calling it stimulus money. I know you all were happy when the money was coming, but that's what creates inflation, okay? So would you prefer an extra check for 6 months and inflation for the rest of your life?
No.
How many of you know that that's not a smart trade?
No.
But that is what happens with fiat money, okay? It's very simple. It's supply, demand. They just pump $10 trillion into the U.S. economy, okay? That creates inflation because there is more supply, greater demand for fuel, for all this stuff that we buy from China, from other places, right? And it goes up in price. Right? Because supply demand, it's just basic economics. Like, it's not even that deep, okay? So calling it quantitative easing. What happened in the one of the biggest the recessions that we had in 2007 and 8 when the real estate market collapsed? Government steps in, starts pumping money into the system, calling it quantitative easing, basically bailing out these companies that should have gone bankrupt, okay? So that they don't go bust, so that people don't lose their 401ks. It becomes very complex, okay? But in a nutshell, it's very important that you know this because you have to educate your children on this. Because if we don't, education is where things begin. You have to learn how to rightly divide. You know, how does this work? How does savings work? That's why I've been teaching you the past 4 classes. How do I rightly divide my savings? How do I rightly divide my budget? How do I get out of debt? How do I start investing, okay? The more money we print, the less valuable our money becomes. Printing more money by any means is called devaluating or debasing the currency. Please stay with me, okay? Don't. So how come the US dollar has not collapsed? Because we are not the only currency being printed by trillions of dollars. Everybody is on this wild party. Woohoo! Printing money over here in Europe, printing money over there in France, printing money everywhere, right? Because it's the same problem. Fiat money is just, you push a button and boom, there's more money, right? Before they actually had to actually print it on a machine, right, and distribute that money. But now with checking accounts, everything being digital, it's just like, it's just add 10 more zeros. And then wire it via the IRS, right? I mean, it's fast now. So printing more money creates inflation. Are you with me now? Yes. Okay, good. I don't want to lose you. Inflation affects primarily the mid and low income brackets. Most houses making under $80,000 per year are not beating inflation because most families don't own assets such as real estate, gold, silver, stocks, crypto, land, apartment complexes, or assets that protect us against inflation. Do you see the trend? If you make less than $80,000, there is people that I know who make less than $80,000 and they are absolute nerds like me, okay? And they're able to still invest. Why? Because they live below their means, they leave some margin to invest into stocks, into different things. But way too many people make less than $80,000 and they're paycheck to paycheck. There is no margin to invest. There is no margin for other things. So therefore, prices are going up, and because you don't own the assets, you're losing to inflation. That's going up by 10, 15, 20% per year. So let's just say if you were making $100,000 last year, if you didn't get a raise of $20,000, you're losing to inflation. You see? So that's just how it works. Don't be mad at me. I'm just telling you how it works, okay? So again, that's why the importance of you learning today how to beat inflation and teaching your children how to do it. Because we're not victims, we are victorious, and we are more than conquerors. Okay, and that's why you're here in these classes, so you can learn how money works. The thing about this fiat money is that we don't have a saying in how much money is printed. Last time I checked, we didn't approve the Fed printing $7-8 trillion. Did you vote for that? No. You see, it's outside of control. More money is getting printed. We don't have a saying on when the money is printed. We didn't vote. Oh, you know what? Let's get the Democrats or Republicans to print the money in December. No, they print it whenever they want. It's called the Fed. Yeah. And I have to remind my free spirit wife, I said, you're not the Fed. You don't just print money, go shopping. You know, we have a budget. You know, and that's the reality. We don't just go print money, like, we don't. Over the past 5 decades, we've made China and the Middle East rich by buying all of the products, like oil, right? We buy a lot from the Middle East. And then in turn, so again, another emoji moment, okay? So these past 5 decades, America was one of the wealthiest nations, okay? Coming out of the Middle Age, where we basically invented how to build skyscrapers, okay? And a lot of wealth was created in the US, okay, in the industrial age. Then we got so wealthy that we turned America into a big old mall. And China became the producer of the things that we bought inside the mall, okay? But China has played their part really smart because how many of you guys know if you go to the store, everything that's cheap is made in China?
Yeah.
And we normally buy the cheapest stuff.
Yeah.
Okay? We don't buy the made in America because it's too pricey. But we're shooting ourselves in our foot. Okay? So for the past 5 decades, we've been buying all this stuff from Middle East and China. And in turn, they've made a really excellent moves. They've developed infrastructure in their countries. And they've come and bought real estate in the United States. Specifically speaking, apartment complexes.
Oh, wow.
So who has control over your rent now?
China.
So careful when you go to the store. See what you're buying. Again, was that another emoji moment?
Yeah.
Did they teach us that in school?
No.
Did your parents walk you through this?
Never.
No, right? Again, we are victorious. As I'm teaching all of this, I see some of you kind of, like getting discouraged. Don't be discouraged. That's why you're here. Okay? And we have to educate. We have to start having these conversations at home during dinner time, giving our family hope and solutions, but we have to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how are we going to win? Right? So now, they bought a lot of real estate. They bought a lot of assets. They've improved their infrastructure in their countries. And now we are in a big transition of power between U.S. and China. Okay? And it'll probably take a few decades for that to play out. Okay? We still have, honestly, the best country in the world because there's so much freedom. I can tell you, like all the people I know in Mexico, they want to come here. They don't want to go to China. Okay? So there is a lot of hope. We have freedom. We have one of the most safe countries in the world. Everybody wants to still come here, okay? So don't be discouraged. We still have an amazing nation. We keep trusting God. Every step that we take, we lead our family into trusting God, and He's going to lead us into great things, okay? Because all things work together for our good. Do you guys believe that?
Yes.
All right, so let's keep moving forward. So let's talk about inflation and the CPI. The CPI stands for Consumer Price Index. Okay, so now I'm going to break it down for you. How do we track inflation? The Fed and the government track these numbers that you spend on transportation, apparel, housing, food and beverages, medical care, recreation, other goods and services, education, and communication. Okay, so they track all this money that you're spending and they give it a score, right? So they're being saying the last month they said, oh, well, inflation is at 7-8%. But truth be told, if you're aware of things, you know that real estate has gone up crazy. 3 years ago, we helped people buy homes. They could buy a brand new house for $200,000. Now that same house is $350,000. Okay? So it's not going up by 7% per year. Clearly. It's going up by much higher. That's why you're here to get educated. Okay? But it's important that you understand where that CPI number comes from. Okay? Inflation chart. Okay, let's talk about this. It's important that you understand how inflation has existed for a long time, okay? And it goes through ups and downs and periods of sideway. Here in the 1940s, we experienced over 10% inflation, okay? Did we survive through this? Yeah, hello, we're here, 2020, right? So I'm telling you this so that you don't freak out. You're like, oh, it's the end of the world. Like, no, we've conquered. We've conquered before. Okay? So we will overcome again. All right? So these are high periods of inflation, over 10%, in the 1970s, 1980s. And today, we're experiencing one of the highest in many years. You guys with me?
Yep.
Okay. So, again, speaking to you because sometimes we tend to be negative sometimes. That's why we really have to learn to, like I teach my daughter, to pull the weeds out of our mind when we start getting these thoughts of negativity and, oh, I'm not going to make it and this and that. And how am I supposed to make it in this economy? Like, you have to learn to control your thoughts because that's really what's going to make your decisions moving forward. Okay? So I'm going to give you perspective. Have we experienced high inflation in the past? Talk to me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, okay. We've gone through 17 recessions and one Great Depression since 1797. Have we made it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay? the Great Depression of 1929 to 1938 was really like the worst period economically that we've been through as a country. But there's been all these recessions. Look, in 1797, 1857, 1873, 1893. Some of you, most of us, we haven't experienced all of those, right? We've been lucky. We just experienced maybe some of the last few. 1907, 1945, 1949, 1953. The last few, I don't want to bore you. In 1980, I didn't even experience that because I was born after that. I know you all think. I experienced this one, 1990, 2001, in 2008, and 2020 with COVID, the last one we had. Okay? Have we overcome recession?
Yes, sir.
So you guys with me?
Yes.
This is not the end of the story. Like, we are going to overcome.
Amen.
And you're here, I believe that all of us, if we really believe that we are what the Bible says, that we're trees planted by the river of life, we're going to bear fruit in every season.
Amen.
What does that mean in a practical, economical way? We're prepared. Next recession, I'm stocking up on stocks. I'm buying them dirt cheap. And I'm making 100, 200% return when the world is freaking out. Right? Why? Because they don't see beyond today or beyond tomorrow or beyond this recession. I'm scooping up crypto cheap. I'm scooping up real estate cheap. I'm scooping up everything cheap, right? When everybody's scared. Believe it or not, one of the most wealthy investors, Warren Buffett, that's his motto. He says, buy when everybody is afraid and sell when everybody's greedy. And he's one of the richest guys on the planet. So a lot of us here that are part of the church, we really have to learn to walk this out. When people are freaking out, you got to be a wise steward so that you can be buying up when everybody's scared. And when everybody's buying up, you're selling a few shares because you made so much money. That is crazy. Okay? So you guys with me? Yes, are we going to make it?
Yeah.
Have we made it in the past?
Yes.
Okay, so this is for the simple purpose of you positioning yourself so that you can walk out that victory with your family. Okay? All right. Let's talk a little bit about shrinkflation. Have you guys experienced this at the store? Or just me?
Yeah.
What is shrinkflation? Man, I used to buy this cereal box and it used to seem like huge. And I was like, was it because I was really young? I was like 7? Or are things really getting smaller? They are getting smaller, right? It's another way of inflation. Like this cereal box, it used to be 19.3 ounces and now it's 18.1. So they don't jack up the price on you, but the product gets cheap. I remember those Frito-Lay chips. They used to seem more full. And now like only 3 in there. And I'm like, I guess the only good thing is I'm losing weight. But I'm like, bro, like I used to remember that I would get filled up with one bag of chips.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, where are they at? I was like, was this busted open? Like, where did they go? Did somebody play magic trick on me or what's going on? And you can, who eats Doritos here? Am I the only one?
Yeah, I like
Don't lie. The Lord forgives you. Okay, they used to have 9.75 ounces, now 9.25. Right? They used to be 250, now they're 272 with less. So this is called shrinkflation. Okay? Look at it from the positive outlook. Like, we're not eating as much, all right? So, look at it from that. Now, if you got a big family, then you got to add a little bit more milk. Like my grandma will say, hey, because I grew up really poor, but she will say, just add more water to the beans. You feed more people, right? I love that about my grandma. She kept it positive, I just love that. So, again, that's just something else that we need to be aware of, right, as you're shopping around. Okay, now we're talking. How are we going to beat inflation? Let's see how much time. Jesus, help me. Okay, how to beat inflation. I might not get to finish tonight, because please bear with me. I'm trying to teach you crypto, stocks, real estate, how to beat inflation, and all this stuff. I'm going to do my best. And I will try to cover everything, but we'll see how far we can go. Okay, how to beat inflation. I told you earlier that the middle and low classes are getting crushed by inflation, right? Again, everybody making less than 80K per year, if you're not really good at budgeting, most likely you're not buying assets, so you're losing to inflation. Any household making less than 80K is very likely not to beat inflation because of the things I just said. Only those who own assets are beating inflation. That is the truth. So you have to make it a goal of yours. You gotta buy some assets. You gotta teach your children how to do this. Because the sooner you start, they're gonna grow up thinking that this is normal, okay? And like I shared with the class, when I take my daughter to Walmart, I say, baby, do you know we co-own Walmart? Because we own a lot of shares. And she says, Daddy, we own everything. And I'm like, yes. So imagine the mindset that she's growing up with. Because I tell her, we own a part of Bank of America. We own a part of Walmart. We own a part of Starbucks. Anything that's publicly traded, we own a piece of it. And she's growing up with that mindset that, wow, we own a piece of everything. And some of you that might be like, oh, that's, a prideful statement or this or that. The Bible says that God owns everything.
Yeah.
And that I'm his son.
Yeah. Yes,
So
sir.
why wouldn't I want to own a piece of everything?
Come on.
Actually, that's a statement of faith,
Yeah.
right? Ignorance is saying, oh, I'm meant to be broke and for the rest of my life. And that's like the holy thing. No, that's not a holy thing. It takes faith. It takes faith to say, I'm going to own a piece of everything.
Yes, sir.
Right? For God's glory. Not for my glory, but God's glory. So, to beat inflation, you must own good performing assets, which is what I'm going to teach you. What are good performing assets, right? Real estate, great crypto assets, great stocks, commodities, gold, silver, assets that go up in price, like land, etc. Okay? That's how we beat inflation. Now I'm going to start unpacking that for you, okay? Real estate. Okay. So those of you who want to start in real estate, investing in apartment complexes and flipping houses and doing all this stuff, I will suggest by experience that you need to start by becoming a homeowner. If you don't own a house, work on just getting a house under your belt where you live in and you're motivated to pay it every month, right? If you go buy a rental property and things get tough, you're going to be like, I'm going to let it go because I don't even live in it. Right? But if you're about to lose the roof over your head, trust me, you're going to figure something out. Right? I'll rent the garage, do whatever it takes, right? I mean, you guys laugh, but I come from California. In California in 2004, 2003, a townhome back then was like $800,000, a 2-bedroom. And that's why it came to Texas. And now everything got expensive in Texas. So, but start by becoming a homeowner means what? Work on your credit, build up a savings, build up for your down payment, whatever it takes. Just, I can tell you, Emmanuel, how many people we've helped over the past few years that we have yearly meetings with these people that we've helped to buy houses. And now we've given the reports of how much their houses are worth, and they have 150, 200,000 in equity now. But they made a move 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, start soon. Get a house under your belt so that at least it's one hedge of protection against inflation, right? Because house prices skyrocket, you're in the home ownership side, you're smiling. Not so much because your taxes go up too.
Yeah.
And your insurance goes up too.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Can we keep it real in this class?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but at least you got some equity, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you don't own a house, the prices are just skyrocketing on you and you're upset. I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at all the people moving from California. Real estate is getting really expensive, right? So let's just say you get that out of your system. You buy a house, man, you're doing great. You continue to be a good steward, a good manager over your money. Now you're saving up some more money. Now the next step is you can buy a rental property, right? There's multiple plans out there. Some require 5% down, some 20% down. It depends. Everybody's different depending on your goals, situations, different things. And I love rental properties. I love rental properties because somebody else makes the payment. They make equity for me. They give me a tax write-off. And I'm loving that, right? I make home upgrades on my house, pay from the checking on the rental account, and it becomes a write-off over here. So I'm motivated to make home upgrades in my house because it's a write-off. everything becomes a write-off. The landscaper, write-off. Right? The cleaning lady, write-off. Everything is a write-off, right? But if you don't have a rental property, it's like, you can't write it off. The tax code is not for you, okay? So you want rental property, 1, 2, 3, as many as you want, okay? It's a great way to, again, have somebody else pay off the mortgage and you building wealth, okay? Yeah, you might have to change the toilet here and there, whatever, but who cares? Like, that's not hard to do, okay? Hire a handyman, it's a write-off. So you get depreciation and write-offs, okay? Buy more rental properties in town or your favorite places to Airbnb them. Like I'm buying a condo in Cancun, one of my favorite places to vacation.
Let's go.
I'm gonna Airbnb it. When I go stay there a month or two, whatever I want, rent free because I own it. And the months that I'm not there, I'm gonna rent it and people are gonna pay me to stay in my beautiful condo, right? Walking distance to the beach, walking distance to the golf course, golf cart, like the whole thing. And it's making me money, right? That's the way to train yourself to think and your next generations. Invest in apartment complexes. When you get to this level, you're gonna need at least $100K to put yourself in a good position to invest in an apartment complex. Depending on how the deal is structured. If you are a accredited investor, things will work more in your favor, and I'll go over that later on. But that is pretty much the game. You get to 100K capital, and you have to invest. That's when you can get in that game of investing in apartment complexes. Become an accredited investor, meaning you make more than $250,000 a year, or you have more than $1 million in reserves. That qualifies you to be an accredited investor. And then if you want, like me, as a hobby, you just flip homes, right? I just love flipping houses. Turn something ugly into something beautiful, sell it, make money on it, get some write-offs along the way, right? But it becomes fun, right? Like I don't have to do it to feed my family. It's just fun. I love turning something ugly into something beautiful because I believe that that's kind of what God did with me. He took something that was below market price, and he brought me above asking price, right? I mean, I try to really look at everything through the lenses of, man, God is so good, So I'm gonna go into this community, take this thing that nobody wants it's beat up, needs paint, needs tile, needs all this stuff, and I'm just gonna put my hand on it, right? Bless it, and sell it, and let it be a blessing to a family. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Don't fall asleep, okay? Because I'll have Emmanuel over there, got that water. Spray everybody. Okay, so real estate, okay? In a nutshell, take a picture if you want. That's a great way to start. Don't fall for the get-rich-quick YouTube guys telling you, buy my program right now for $155, and you'll be rich by tomorrow. Because they'll just take the last $159 you have. They've studied you. They know they're gonna, they're gonna sell you the dream. And you're gonna go for it. You're gonna put it on a credit card. And you're gonna buy it. It takes time. You trust God. Take steps. Be a good manager of the little, and God will, because He loves you so much, He will continue to entrust you with more and more. Just don't grow frustrated and start, telling God, and why? I was there. I was like, God, you hate me. Why this? Why that? And no, He lovingly ushers you to a place where you mature and you start understanding that His plan is perfect and He loves you so much. Okay? All right. Who's excited about cryptocurrencies? Let me see. All right.
Let's go.
Okay, so you've heard about cryptocurrencies. Don't fall for the gurus either, okay? Because now that there is crypto, there is plenty of gurus out there on YouTube too. Like, buy my $200 and you're going to make it rich on Dogecoin. No, don't do that. So let me talk to you about what are cryptocurrencies. A cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency that is secured by cryptography. Okay? If you don't know what cryptography is, go study it. All right, because I could break this down, but it would take me literally 10 hours. So I'm gonna go just give you high level. You're gonna have to do some studying on your own, and that's okay. I've studied for thousands of hours. That's how I know so much about it. So it's secured by cryptography, which makes it nearly impossible to counterfeit or double spend. You remember when we used to have that checkbook on the checking account, and you spend some money, and you're like, oh, I gotta go put that in my checkbook. Because otherwise, you go swipe, 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 and you still think you have all that money. And then the check bounces, and you're like, why? And then you go back, oh, that's right, I had to spend that. That's what I love. It's like a uncorruptible ledger that records everything. Everything. And there is no saying, oh, don't put that transaction in there. No, everything is on a ledger. Zero trying to cheat the system. Cryptocurrencies are digital assets in centralized and decentralized systems that allow for secure online payments. Let me break this down a little bit. I don't want to take too long. Centralized, decentralized. What does it mean? Centralized systems means we have a framework, right, within the United States. Bank of America, Chase, all the big banks operate under this centralized system. Means it has to bow down to regulations of the government, and it has to fit. And they have to report every week, every month, every day, transactions and things that go through it, okay? The centralized systems, it's something that many of them are worldwide, or they're in different countries, and don't necessarily have to bow down to the current structure, okay, that has to report to the United States or to Europe or to, so it's decentralized, okay? Now, some people want to keep their cryptocurrencies on centralized platforms, and that's okay. Honestly, there's no right or wrong, okay? The only big thing I will tell you is centralized platforms can be, they can freeze your assets, okay? In decentralized platforms, they cannot freeze your assets because it's self-governed, okay? For example, what happened recently in Russia, okay? That NATO and all these nations say, hey, we're gonna censor this money, the SWIFT bank system, right? Can't use Visa, MasterCard, this. And now people, when they're trying to go buy groceries and food and essentials for their family, they can't, okay? Those people wish they had money on a decentralized system so that they could at least go buy the essentials. Are you with me?
Yes.
That is the difference between centralized and decentralized, okay? I'm not saying go put all your money on centralized. I'm not saying go put it all on decentralized. I'm just saying do your homework, make your own decisions, okay? But if you have any common sense of wisdom, I will have some here and some there, okay? Just in case. All right? There are primarily 4 use cases for cryptocurrencies, which I will unpack for you on one of the following slides. Some cryptocurrencies offer their owners the opportunity to earn passive income through a process called staking, okay? Crypto staking involves using your cryptocurrencies to help verify transactions on a blockchain protocol. Through staking, though staking has its risk, it can allow you to grow your crypto holdings without buying more. Let me unpack this a little bit, okay? So staking is like, so for example, a lot of us have a savings account. Let's just say with a big bank, okay? Bank of America, Chase, whatever bank, you give it the name. And we have, let's just say, the $1,000 or 6 to 9 months of living expenses, and they're giving us 0.00009 per year, okay? Well, and they lend it back to you in the term of a credit card, and they charge you 29% per year. So that's kind of messed up, right? It doesn't take a scientist to figure out that that's messed up. So with crypto projects, what you can do is that same money that you have on a savings account, you take it on a centralized or decentralized platform, and they pay you yield on it every year. It could be 8%, it could be 10%. Some platforms pay 40%. Obviously, the higher the risk, the more decentralized it is, the more you're gonna earn, but the more risk you're taking on. Okay, so you pray, you figure out what works for you, and you go do your thing, okay? I'm not suggesting any or the other. I know what I do for myself, okay? But it's important that you know, that you educate yourself, because this is how cryptocurrencies are taking on a massive market share of the banking system. Because all of us are sick and tired of not getting nothing for our savings. And then borrowing it at 19 to 29%. Crypto's changing the game, and the banks are having to readjust because they're getting disrupted. Just like, how many of you all remember Blockbuster?
Yeah.
They got disrupted because better technology came about, right? How many of you know the taxi industry? And now Uber and Didi and all these other things, right? A better technology came about. Hotel system, Airbnb, right? What happened? Before we used to have these big old cameras to take video, right? Now it's just the iPhone, right? So pictures have been digitized, video has been digitized, right? So now money is getting in the process, okay? Which is long overdue because we don't really have, up until crypto, we didn't have the ability to move money fast, right? Because how many of you all know the internet is 24/7, right? Is your bank 24/7? No, 8 to 5. Saturday is only half a day. And if you want to do a transaction, I'm going to charge you for the wire or for the cashier's check. And it's like, you know, the borrower being a slave to the lender, right? So, but a lot is changing. I'm glad you're in this class so you can educate your family, can educate your children. A lot is changing, and it's changing very fast, okay? You have to think of cryptocurrencies as the 12th sector of the S&P 500, which I'm going to break that down. What is the S&P 500? It's the 500 top companies in the U.S., okay? And within those 500 companies, it's divided in sectors. Okay, I'm gonna break that down for you. But you have to think of cryptocurrencies as another massive sector of the S&P 500. You with me?
Yes.
All right, let's keep moving. How many of you guys have heard of Bitcoin? By show of hands. Let me see. A lot of you have heard about Bitcoin. Okay, great. People don't even know what Bitcoin is. Okay? They just see Kramer yelling on CNBC, bah, 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 sell, right? And they don't know what it is. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin in a nutshell is sound money. I'm going to break this down for you. But let me just read this for a second, okay? Bitcoin is sound money. Bitcoin is a digital currency which operates free of any central control or the oversight of banks or governments. What does this mean? What was the problem with fiat money? There were two big problems with fiat money. What were they?
Inflation.
But why does it become inflation?
Just
They print more, right?
Whenever they want.
Nobody can decide, oh, we're going to print more Bitcoin. It's 21 million, just like real estate. Can somebody just come and say, oh, we're going to make more land? No, there is only so much land in the world. And then unless Elon Musk finds a way to get us to Mars and somewhere else, you know, like that's it. That's what we got. We got to take care of it, right? It's the same thing with Bitcoin. It's only 21 million Bitcoins that are going to be minted, and that's it. No more. Okay, so it's a scarce asset. Okay. Instead, it relies on peer-to-peer software and cryptography. A public ledger records all Bitcoin's transactions, and copies are held on servers around the world. That's what's called mining, blockchaining, and all that. Okay? So again, can the government come and print more Bitcoin?
No.
Okay, good answer. You passed the test. Okay, so one of the issues that has come up lately is people think that Russia and everybody, the crime can go on Bitcoin. People who understand cryptography, blockchain, they don't want to do any transactions on any cryptocurrencies. Why? Because there is a clear, transparent ledger. I just told you about the checkbook, right? And everything can be traced. Everything can be traced. Who deposited this? Who bought this? Everything can be traced in the blockchain. Okay? Yes, there are some crypto projects, not Bitcoin. There are some small crypto projects that are decentralized. You understand the difference between centralized and decentralized now. And they are prioritizing basically nobody being able to tell. Okay? Who bought, who sold, who anything. So that, like anything, right? There's black markets that do crazy stuff. It's going to happen. They're going to try to do that. Do you think those projects are gonna blow up and become too big? No, because trust is everything, right? So here you can trust. That's the people you're gonna do business with. You with me? Okay, so Bitcoin is uncensored digital money. Let's just say you have your Bitcoin, right? And the government says, hey, we're gonna freeze all the Bitcoin. If you have it on a centralized exchange, are they gonna freeze it?
Yes.
Yes. If you have your Bitcoin on a decentralized, are they gonna freeze it?
No.
If you have it on your own private wallet, can they freeze it?
No.
No, they can't. That's why people, specifically wealthy people, very wealthy people, they leave some on exchange. A lot of it they take off exchange and they have it on private servers where they have the key and they're the only ones that can have access to it. And if the US censored it today, they go to Portugal where they pay 0 taxes on all crypto gains, crypto profits, and they move their money. That's why now it's too late to censor Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies because like China banned it, right? All the miners for Bitcoin. And guess what? They moved to Miami and to Texas. And they're very smart because these machines that keep crypto alive through the blockchain, they do it through energy, right? So now how they're keeping these machines alive is they're going in some places. What was the place in Texas that they told us about? Do you remember? Well, they're going to, Texas has a lot of land, right? And it's like desert, right? Bunch of land. So big wealthy companies are going out there buying 2,000 acres and building some massive farms of solar panels. And that's how they power these machines. So they just make a one-time investment and then they pay 0 for electricity. And that's how they keep these machines alive, right? And now they can get censored, okay? Because now they figured out a way to do it without power from the grid. So there's a lot of development that's happening specifically in Texas and Florida of crypto mining. Families are pouring billions and billions of dollars to this technology, okay? Bitcoin is money that can be transferred to any country at any time. So I have my cousin in Mexico, right? I have a team that works for me in Mexico. So I might be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna pay you with Bitcoin today. I can pay on Saturday at 6 p.m. or Sunday at 10 a.m. I don't have to wait for the bank. So it's money, light speed. Light speed. That's what differentiates Bitcoin, okay? For example, if you held a lot of wealth in real estate, it still can't beat Bitcoin because it's taxed. How many of you guys, we just talked about it, right? Even if you own a rental property and it's paid for 100%, you have no mortgage on it. Are you still gonna pay taxes?
Yes.
Are you still probably gonna pay insurance?
Yes.
Most likely, right? So with Bitcoin, you can own $100 million and you ain't gonna pay no taxes unless it goes up in value and you sell it, then you take a profit, right? Then you have to pay taxes. But with real estate, same thing. If it goes up, you take out the money, and unless you lived in it for 2 years as your homestead, then you don't have to pay taxes on it. But do you see how resilient Bitcoin is? All right. So now let's talk about this really quick. Trades of money, Bitcoin, gold, and fiat. You guys remember what fiat money is, right? Okay. So Bitcoin, verifiable, high, gold, moderate, fiat, moderate. Fungible, high, high, high. Portable, high, low, high. Durable, moderate, high, low. Divisible, high, low, moderate. What does divisible mean? Oh, I'm going to go to Walmart and I'm just going to pay with gold. I'm going to take my brick of gold and I'm just going to kind of scrape it and see if I can pull out 1 ounce. No, you can't do that, right? Scarce, high, gold, moderate. Let me explain to you why gold is moderate on scarcity. Because, they keep mining for gold, right? Yeah. So they discover about 2 to 3% extra gold per year. So that means that it gets debased, just like fiat, at about 2 or 3% per year because they discover more. So you see what makes real estate scarce? We ain't gonna build more. Now in the metaverse, they're trying to sell real estate, which I'll talk about the metaverse in a little bit. How much time do I have? Oh Lord, hurry up. Established history, sure, Bitcoin is only, not that old, over a decade. Gold been since the Roman Empire, okay? And fiat also not that much track record. Censorship resistant, Bitcoin high, gold moderate. Some of y'all don't remember, but if you study history, they banned having gold, the U.S. and many other nations. Fiat low, unforgeable, costliness high, low, openly programmable, high, low, decentralized, high, moderate. So you see how it just meets, that's why it's called sound money. Okay, so I hope you have a better understanding after this class. You with me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Again, you're probably not gonna learn everything because there is so much that I'm not gonna get a chance to unpack, but at least you have a better understanding of it. Okay, so 4 main use cases and evolving, okay, for cryptocurrencies. Your son, your nephew, normally right now the young generation, they're all hyped up into crypto, okay, but when your son comes to you and say, hey, let me borrow $5,000, I gotta go buy this Dogecoin thing or whatever, you're gonna be like, hold up, son, hold on, daughter, what use case does it have? They're gonna look at you like, what is that? See, now you're gaining wisdom to coach this young generation who's so hyped up trying to get in the game of crypto, okay? So there is 4 main use cases for all cryptocurrencies, okay? And it's evolving. One of them is store of value, similar to gold, real estate, because it's scarce. Do you have an idea which one that is? We've been talking about it.
Bitcoin.
Bro, this guy, he's taking notes. Good job, my friend. Hey, 1 out of 30 something is getting it. Good. Thank you, Jesus. Stable coins, like the dollar, okay? There is crypto projects that are meant to be stable coins. USDT, there is a bunch of Tether, a bunch of different stable coins that all it is you're putting your money into a cryptocurrency and it doesn't go up or down in value. You're just putting it into decentralized rails. Remember centralized, decentralized? You're just putting your money in decentralized rails so that you can use 24/7, however you want. You can transfer it between banks, do whatever you got to. Okay?
How can you tell which one is which?
When you study them, again, now that you have the framework,
Like, do they have to say which one they are? Do they have to like make that known?
when you open a crypto broker account, you're gonna see all the projects, right?
Say which one.
And every project has a description.
Okay.
So when you do your homework and you're like, what is this crypto project about? It's gonna say the stable coin. And you're gonna see that it doesn't go up and down in value.
Gotcha.
Which platform do you recommend? Because they are.
We'll go about that. I have a lot. As a matter of fact, I'll give you guys a phone number that you can text, and my brother is gonna send you the platforms that I use, and then you can do your research, do your diligence, and use whichever one you want. Okay? For the platforms to buy cryptocurrencies. So stable coins like the dollar, securities, neutral rails, and then there's networks. Okay? There's a big movement about networks. What is a network? It's like Ethereum. Ethereum is the 2nd largest cryptocurrency today. Okay, it's at about $350 billion cap. What is Ethereum? Ethereum is a network in which crypto projects are being built upon. Think of like the iPhone. Okay, what is the iPhone? Could you have Facebook without the iPhone? Or the Android, those of you who love Android. Could you have Facebook without the iPhone or Android? No, right? It's a network. It's a host of great things, right? Could you have Google Maps without this thing? No. Or maybe on your laptop, right? But it's a network. So on top of Ethereum, they're building a lot of crypto projects. Those are called protocols. They're not called apps. They're called protocols. Like think of like a company with a specific purpose in mind, okay? So now you know that you have your store of value, your Bitcoin, you have stable coins, you have networks like Ethereum. On top of Ethereum, so much is getting built right now. 3 months ago, there were 12,000 crypto projects. Today, there's 18,000. And that's why so much money is getting made on cryptocurrencies. And it's not gonna stop because I'm gonna show you some things. So DeFi is getting built, and there is other networks like Ethereum that are gaining market share, but they're so much smaller than Ethereum because they're at a 10% cap at best. Okay, so Ethereum really is like the Apple, because who owns the marketplace? Apple or the Android phones, right? It's soon to be seen who's going to be the second largest network to Ethereum. There's a lot. That's why you got to do your homework, homie. Right? Nobody knows. If I knew, I'll put all my money in that one. You got to do your homework. So DeFi projects are getting built on Ethereum and other networks. DeFi stands for decentralized finance. Remember, DeFi is coming to disrupt the banking industry as we know it. Okay? And it's happening very fast. On top of Ethereum, there is called NFTs. Have you guys heard of NFTs? Yes. Digital art. But that's just one use case. There is a gazillion things that you can do through NFTs. DAOs. DAOs are coming to disrupt the non-for-profit industries. Okay? Study them in your own time. It's fascinating what that's happening. The apps, right? Which is like protocols. Gaming. Gaming is big now on these crypto projects because they figure out ways where people from all over the world, they're playing to earn money. So now in some third world countries, kids are making more money playing video games than going to work with their parents. Yeah, that's the truth. It's happening all over the world. All over the world, it's happening. Protocols. The fourth use case for cryptocurrencies is protocols. For example, Chili's, who is a platform that it's using the fans for sports, different sports, soccer, like fans is crazy, right? They go buy all this stuff for their team, right? Like the Lakers or Cowboys, That's why they're multi-billion-dollar companies, the Cowboys and all these teams because of their fans, right? The Decentraland is one of the biggest projects for the metaverse. If you haven't heard of the metaverse, you need to study it big time because it's going to take over. Okay? You thought that our Zoom meetings was already like this connection. The metaverse is it's taking over rapidly. Okay? So now virtual reality, you put on those things and they're developing technology where you're putting on gloves and you're touching something and it's like you're touching water and you feel it. Okay? Now you're traveling to France without having to jump in an airplane and have the expense, but you're having the experience. Okay? And by far, Decentraland on a decentralized platform is achieving that. And on the centralized platforms, Facebook is probably going to build the biggest metaverse that we will see in the next decade. They're pouring billions and billions of dollars to build that. Rally, which is a social token platform. Store.J, which is a cloud-based decentralized thing where you're going to be able to store. You've heard of where you can store pictures and stuff like on Google. But this is going to be way cheaper. And the people who own this project are the ones that are going to benefit instead of just the shareholders. For example, for you to make money of Google, let's just say you use Gmail, okay? Do you make money just by having Gmail? No, right? Well, that's the difference between cryptocurrencies and the current structure, is that right now, in order for you to make money on Facebook, you could be all day in Facebook and you ain't making no money unless you own their shares, right? You bought shares from Facebook. Well, on cryptocurrencies, when you participate on their platform, they're paying you, right? So let's just say you were on Facebook and they're saying, hey man, you spent 8 hours today there. Here we're gonna airdrop some tokens to you. Now you're more incentivized to grow that platform because you're getting paid for it. That's the big revolution about crypto. Okay? You guys with me? Don't fall asleep on me.
So would you say are protocols the biggest use case is growing?
Yes.
It makes
It's
sense.
the biggest.
All right.
Yeah. So it's networks and then protocols. The biggest explosion of projects. Live Peer is here to disrupt YouTube because, this whole censorship thing that is going on now, there is the centralized platform that is non-censored. Okay, so nobody's going to be able to take down your YouTube video if you're a Republican or Democrat. And I love that. I love equal share. Okay, so they're here to disrupt YouTube. The Graph is here to disrupt Google. Request is here to disrupt the Western Union's So there's a lot of remittances, right? That a lot of people that migrated to this country like me, we work hard here and we send money back home. And Western Union has made billions and trillions of dollars of that.
Yes.
Just getting a little cut, right? Well, Request is here to cut them out. So now I'll be able to send money to Mexico without paying any middleman. You see this movement that's happening? Play the app is a gaming platform. Power Ledger is, they're here to disrupt the grid, the electrical grid. They're building their own electrical grid that is going to be free, and now all of a sudden I'm going to be able to buy energy from somebody in Europe at a cheaper price. Yeah. I'm telling you. I told you the emoji thing was going to happen. And those are the projects that I'm trying to find early on, because they're going to make me a lot of money. But it takes a lot of hard work, right, to find those. So there is one called Protocol. That one is going to use the blockchain to create artificial intelligence and for pets. For example, there's millions of pets in the world, right? Dogs, cats, birds, whatever. Some people love cats, some people love dogs, but they're leveraging all this data worldwide to say, hey, if you were a Chihuahua, most likely you're going to face this problem. And there's already this solution. It's crazy. A lot of stuff that's going on. Okay, so again, you guys with me?
Yes.
It's a lot of stuff that's going on right under our nose. Okay? So what are NFTs? Jesus. Emmanuel, you warned me. You said, bro, you're not going to feed me.
You gotta give him Bitcoin for that.
All right, so NFTs stand for non-fungible tokens. It's generally built using the same kind of programming as cryptocurrencies. Okay, digital art. You remember these pictures made by Picasso? They're very famous, right? And it's like, man, if you have one of those, it's worth like $2 million, right? Well, now artists are being able to develop digital art, okay? And now, because there's like an IT number attached to it, you know that you have the original one. A lot of people think, well, who would want to buy a JPEG, right? But who would want to buy a piece of wood with just some paint on it, right? So now that is happening. NFTs essentially allow its buyer to say that they own the original copy of a digital file. In the same way, you might own the original copy of a piece of physical art or the master file of a music record. So what is going on? Explain two use cases for NFTs, the author and the artist. NFTs will be just as needed for a business as a website in the future. Let me explain to you two use cases of NFTs. So I am a musician, okay? Before, if I was talented, I had to go to a record label and kind of do my best spinning, right? Oh, yeah, I can sing. Oh, you know what? You're pretty good, dude. We're going to sign you up. We're going to take 90%. You're going to get 10%. Okay? Record label. Nowadays, with social media and NFTs, what artists are doing is, I'm talented and I already have a crowd of followers, right? So now I'm saying, hey guys, I'm getting ready to release my next album. I'm going to drop 3,000 NFTs. Each one of them is going to be $600 or $100, different levels, right? And all of them come with the specific rewards, different levels, okay? If you get this layer of NFTs, you're going to have access to my concerts, access to, if I'm in town and I have an autograph, you get access to these things. So then the artists are releasing their NFTs, their fans are buying the NFTs. That's how the artist is raising the money to go pay the musicians and all this stuff to create their album. Then they release it, boom, and the NFTs blow up in value. So now instead of the record label making all the money, the actual fans are the ones that are making the money, because they're the ones that got behind the artist. So an author is going to write a book, they do the same thing. But now the fans are replacing the record labels. So do you see the trend, how crypto is cutting out the middleman? Right? It's very clear that any deficiencies, anybody who can get cut out is going to get cut out. Because cryptocurrencies It's basically the whole cryptocurrencies is pioneered by the millennials, and we've seen our parents get screwed.
You're welcome.
We've seen a lot of people getting screwed, and we're here to rectify things. Okay, and we're creating crypto projects to make things fair, to make things better for the world, and that's great, right?
Yeah.
That's why you're not gonna be able to stop cryptocurrency. It's here to stay. Okay, so now, before investing, because a lot of you are like, somebody asked me earlier, like, you invest in NFTs? No, because I have my mind wrapped up on so many other things. Before investing in NFTs, spend at least 500 hours studying. Always protect your family. I am telling you, when you start hearing about crypto and all that, please do yourself a favor. Don't fall for the guru who tells you, I'm going to make you rich overnight. Do your own studying. Don't be lazy. Research, because the greatest calling that we have is to protect our family. Okay, so don't go spend the last $2,000 that you have trying to get rich quick and then you lose it all. Then you got to start from scratch. Okay, so study. Metaverse. The metaverse is a virtual reality world where users can interact, game, and experience things as they would in the real world. Using current AR and VR technology, they can immerse into this world and interact with overlaying objects and people in the visual projected in front of them. There will be different metaverse worlds, as I told you earlier, okay? Before investing in the metaverse world, spend at least 500 hours studying. Always protect your family, okay? Study. I knew I was gonna run out of time, so study cryptography. You gotta get familiar with that. Study blockchain technology. Study DAOs, study DeFi, DApps, protocols, networks. That's going to be very important for you to make wise investments on cryptocurrencies. So the metaverse world, again, we are not going to be able to stop it. Seriously. Do you already see that you go out with your family and everybody's on their phone? Next thing you know, nobody's going to want to go nowhere. They're just going to be like, oh, I see you in dinner, I got this thing. You know?
That's not good.
Yeah, I hope that's
It's not. But that's why we have to create conscience. And we have to start talking to our children why there is importance in connecting one-on-one, because we're losing that. And Zoom and COVID didn't help. Right? Because now we wear masks. We don't even know if you're upset. You got the mask. You're laughing. Like what? Now you're trying to read the eyes. Right? Because you can't read this. Now you're like, or you could be like, and they don't even know. Right? Again, the importance of educating our children. Okay? Let's not lose touch. But this is something that we're going to have to learn to deal with. Because it's here. Okay? And think about it. Some people are going to be like, I don't even want to travel anymore. Because why am I going to spend $10,000 to go to Europe when I can plug this thing and I literally feel like I'm there? I'm touching the Paris Tower. I'm touching the beach in Cancun. I'm not even there. Like, it's crazy. I'm going to tell my grandma to put on her thing and she's going to see me. I'm going to shake hands with her. I might give her a hug. Like, that is here. That is, like, here. It's real. So again, just telling you. And those who invest in this thing, they're gonna make a lot of money. I'm gonna make a lot of money on it. You get early on, right? Again, we are the lenders and not the borrowers. We are blessed people, right? When people go through recessions, I buy. We buy. If you are not at that place, that's why you're here. Have good savings, trust God, right? Give to, and position you and your family to win. And that's what they're calling Web 3.0. Okay? Think of Web 3.0 like internet, but to a whole nother level. With virtual reality and crypto and all these different things. Okay, so here is the great news, okay? A lot of you who prepare now and you start making wise investments in crypto, you're gonna make a ton of money. And here's the reason why. Look at this, technology adoption curve. So when the internet was invented, you know that it was banned at first, right? If you didn't know, do some research, do some studying, you'll find that out. When the internet was invented, it got banned, and then they knew they couldn't stop it, so they opened it up, right? And it took off. They started tracking the internet in 1992, when there were only 8 million users, okay? And by 2006, there was over 1 billion users. How many years was that? From 1992 to 2006, 14 years. How many? 8 million to 1.2 billion users. Let me tell you what's happening with crypto today. They started measuring crypto in 2016 when it hit 8 million users, just like the internet. Do you see that it's growing faster than the internet? We are here right now. Okay? 2021. Look at what's happening. By 2030, there's going to be 4.3 billion users. You're early on. You remember when the cell phone was that big the brick thing that had the antenna and all that? That's where we're at in crypto. We're early, really early. So those who study, invest wisely, protect their family, they're going to make a whole lot of money. Okay? So, you excited about it?
Yeah.
Thank God. And let me tell you, by the way, I honor Pastor Ben because he gave me the opportunity to be here, to teach. You know, I wouldn't be here without all his support and mentorship over a decade. And so I'm telling you, you have great people around you. Just surround yourself with people that want to bless you, that want to uplift you, that want to encourage you, that want to speak destiny and life over your lives. And you're going to do great things. Because at one point I didn't know this. As a matter of fact, I'll tell the story. I have a mentor that teaches me finances, right? I've had for over a decade. And I came to him about 7 years ago when there were how many million users? Let's see. About 7 years ago. It was before that. There were less than 8 million users. And I told him, hey man, I'm hearing about this thing called crypto. I'm hearing about this Bitcoin. He was like, Jacob, don't even touch it. Don't even touch it. It's like the .com, and you're gonna lose your money. So I was like, okay, I trust my mentor, right? So stayed away from it. Well, that costed me a few $1 million. So all I'm saying is, trust your mentors, but do your own studying too. Because had I just kind of second guessed his opinion and studied a little bit more, let's just say I had thrown a few $1,000. Well, now it'd be hundreds of thousands. Had I thrown the 15,000 that I wanted, it'll be millions. Why? Adoption curve. Okay, you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
You see why this is very important for you and your family today? Okay. So I wanted to share that with you, how to become a millionaire in crypto. This is not financial advice by all means, okay? This is not financial advice. This is simply the opinion of a guy that came from Mexico City who just learned English over the past decade, okay? This is just my opinion. After thousands, like a lot of studying and research. Today, first week of April, 2022, it takes $60,000 to become a crypto millionaire in about 8 years if you just hold the best crypto projects. Okay? It takes hard work and dedication to find the best projects and to keep allocating into the best new projects. Don't think that the best project is whoever messaged you on Instagram saying, this is the best one. Do your homework, please. Do yourself a favor. These top crypto projects will continue to evolve. And I'm okay with that because I love studying it. Every day I study it, right? So I don't mind if another crypto project comes up and takes over, then I'll move money from here to there, right? So you gotta, when I say this statement is, you still have to do your part of doing research, of being diligent, of researching these projects. But that's incredible.
Yeah.
In 8 years? It takes hard work. Okay, so today it takes $140,000 to become a crypto millionaire in about 5 years. If you just hold the best crypto projects. Again, this is not financial advice. It's simply my opinion based on over 1,000 hours of studying and research. Okay? simply an opinion. Don't go put $60,000 or $140,000 and say, Pastor Jacob told me. No, I'll be like, no, I told you to do your own research. Right? Make your own decisions. Okay? Okay, how to buy stocks wisely. Jesus. This is a whole nother 8-hour class, guys. But again, I'm trying to give you high level just so that you live here with, because all of us have family members or friends who throw things away. Oh, you need to buy this crypto project. Oh, you need to buy this stock. Well, why should I buy it? How should I go about my research? Okay? So I'm giving you some great questions and things that you can use to analyze before investing money, because I tell you again, you have to protect your family. You have to protect your family. You're with me?
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so when you buy stocks and crypto, because crypto is so much like stocks, okay? So a lot of these relate to crypto as well. You have to study fundamental versus technical analysis, okay? Technical analysis is the charts, the ups and downs of prices, okay? I teach this to my daughter already. She's only 8 and she already knows. You buy low, you sell high. You buy low. Will you buy here? No, just by looking at a chart, you should be able to tell. But people came in here, they're so mad because for 2 years they've been down. Right? So always be patient. Okay? Let's just say you wanted to get in Tesla, who is an amazing company. And you're like, well, you know what? Everybody's hyping it up, but it's at a high. So I'm going to wait for what's called a retracement. I'm going to wait for it to breathe. I'm going to wait for it to what's called return to the main. And then I'm going to get it. Okay? So you got to do your technical analysis research. Okay? When the fundamentals line up and the technicals lined up, load the boat. Load the boat. Okay? So I'm just teaching you fundamentals. Okay? Technicals, fundamentals. I'm gonna unpack fundamentals a little bit more. But here is the questions to ask. What is the price to earning ratio? Remember, crypto projects right now, they are not measured by price to earning ratio. They're measured by utility, right? We talked about protocols, the purpose that it has. But stocks, most of the time, they're a company that have sales. So there is a profit that they report, right? So figure out, Google it. How do I find the price to earning ratios? Okay? Google it. If it's above 15, then it better have some growth on the company. If it's below 15 and doesn't have much growth, then it's potentially a good buy. But if it's at a 200 price to earning ratio, you gotta be careful, because that's how you get killed. That's how you see a stock go to 1,000 and then back to 200. Okay? That's how people lose fortunes. Don't do that. That's why you're here. People pay thousands of dollars to learn what I'm teaching you. I have paid tens of thousands of dollars to learn what I'm teaching you. So hopefully you can value it and you can put it to practice, because it's the only way it works, right? Does the company have any projected growth? That's something you research. Are you gonna go buy some company that builds nuclear weapons? You have no clue what weapon, don't get into that. You'd be surprised how many people are saying, I just got into this pharma company. Okay, what do you know about pharma? Nothing. And why you get in it? Get into things that you understand. Please do yourself a massive favor. Get into stocks that you understand. What's their trajectory? Where are they going? How do you even enjoy reading about it? Okay? If you don't, then why makes you think you're going to make a wise investment? Or what makes you think you're going to stay on top of it? Okay? Does the company have a lot of debt? You know, those are things you can research. Does Walmart have a lot of debt? Does Tesla have a lot of debt? Did you know that? Research, research, research. Is the company in a healthy financial situation? Do they have a lot of cash in their reserves? That's key, because guess what? What did Facebook do? When Instagram was an open commerce, they bought them out. Could they have done that if they had zero cash in reserves? Could they have bought out WhatsApp if they didn't have cash in reserves? No. Liquid, right? Just like me, I'm waiting for good real estate deals, right? So I can be like, oh, yes, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for that opportunity. Come this way, buy low, sell high. You understand? We're blessed people. Is it in a sector that you understand? You know, there is multiple sectors, which I'll cover. Is it in a sector that you understand? Do you even care about it? If you don't do it. Does it trade in an ETF or in an index fund? Research that. Why? Because a lot of money from pension funds, a lot of people that put money in a 401k or this or that, or 403bs, they get put on index funds, right? That index fund doesn't care what's inside. They're just buying into it, right? So if they are inside of an ETF or an index fund, most likely you're going to capitalize on that because people's retirement funds are already buying into it, right? So imagine, it's like lining up layers of good things, right? Is the price to earning ratio good? Does the company have projected growth? Good. So I'm basically giving you my checklist, and you didn't have to pay me $20,000. Is the company in health? So you're check. It checks everything. You better load the boat. Right? You with me?
Yes.
Is it in a low or high technical cycle? I just taught you that. Low or high. Are you going to buy high? No. Does it matter if your best friend tells you to buy? If it's at a high, you're going to buy it. No, because when you lose 50% of your money, your best friend, you're going to be mad at them. Protect your friendship. Okay? Is it at a low or high technical cycle? Does it pay dividends? Does it pay you cash flow? Right? There are stocks that, hey, you buy it and they pay you money every quarter. Dividend. Just like a rental property. You remember I talked about rental property cash flow? There are stocks that pay you dividends, cash flow. Those are the ones you need to look at, right? Because whether it goes up or down, it don't matter. They're going to give you some money. Okay? This is a big question to ask. Is this an emotional decision, or do I have a strong fundamentals and key technical analysis entry? Whew. If you just abide by this, that's half the battle. Okay? Am I willing to hold this stock or crypto during a recession, downtrend, or during a war? That question will safeguard you so much. Because if you're not willing to hold this crypto project or this stock during a bear market, meaning this, all of a sudden the government or somebody does some crazy stuff and it starts going down, do you have the conviction to hold on to this thing? Okay? Does that make sense? Yes. You guys with me? Yes. Is the stock in an uptrend, sideways trend, or downtrend? That's important too. Okay? Always buy low and sell high. Say that with me. Always buy low, sell high. Okay, at the same time now. Always buy low, sell high. Okay, good. That's the keynote for tonight. 11 sectors of the S&P 500. Okay? The S&P 500 has one of the strongest track records. Okay? Normally, it makes you 8 to 12% return per year. Crypto smokes that. Crypto makes that sometimes in a day or in a week. Because of what? Do you remember that curve adoption? Mm-hmm. Does the S&P have millions and millions and millions of people joining every day? Yeah. No, this is old school. This is the OG, what they call it, right? Old school. Right. Crypto is like the hottest sector of the S&P 500 with the largest growth and returns. That's important for you to grasp, okay? Study the sectors and study the companies inside each sector. There is the information technology, there is the healthcare. These are sectors within the S&P 500. There's the financials, communication services, which Twitter is in there, and Elon Musk just came and became the biggest shareholder of Twitter. Good. And it went up 25% in one day. Good. So, in this age of censorship, if you don't own the platform, they'll censor you. Yeah. So Elon Musk made a move. Yep. Before he gets censored. If you own it, are they going to censor you? Yeah. He's the biggest shareholder now of Twitter. Wow. Making moves. Making smart moves. Industrials, consumer staples, energy, real estate, utilities, materials. What has the potential to multiply? This is the big question that we all need to be pondering on. What has the potential to multiply your money times 10, times 20 over the next 2 decades? Is the only way to beat inflation. Okay? Study the NASDAQ. Study the Dow Jones, the Russell 2000. There's great things out there. That, again, if you don't like to study, you're not going to like me. 'Cause I'm everyday studying. And every day evolves. Every day is evolving. So what I told you today, you come to the next class in 3 months, it's going to be different because things evolve. You stayed three months ago. I kept evolving, right? I kept studying, kept researching. Things move, and they move very fast, right? Another crypto project might come and take the place of some of the ones I gave you because everything is evolving every day, okay? That's just a disclosure. Some of you all think, Why finding a good investment is key. This is key, okay? If you make a one-time contribution of $50,000 and you get an average of 20% return for 32 years, it becomes over $17 million. So for example, my daughter, Daphne, is set up for life simply because I'm taking advantage of that. Right? And honestly, I'm growing at higher than 20% per year. Okay? And she's only 8. So in 32 years, she's only going to be 40. But I told her that I said, Daphne, if you don't know how to multiply the money, you ain't getting none of it. I'm going to give it to my church and to the poor people. Because then you got to build your own. That means you didn't appreciate my hard work and dedication. Right? And because you never saw Egypt, you destroyed the promised land.
Come on.
I hope you hear that word that I'm telling you right now. If your children don't know Egypt, if they grow up in the promised land and you don't teach them to appreciate the promised land, they will destroy the promised land with bad decisions. Okay? So let's just say you're in your 20s and you just start putting $500 per month, which a lot of people pay even more in car payments. So don't get mad at me saying, Jacob, that's a lot of money, bro. Like, bro, you pay more than that on cars sometimes. Don't they? Okay. Back me up, bro. Back me
Come
up.
on, man.
Okay, so you're in your 20s. Instead of getting that fancy car that you can't even afford, okay, put $500 per month for 30 years in a good investment. If it's only 15% return per year, it just becomes $3 million at age 50. Because that was only 30 years. Don't get mad at me. You only did it for 30 years. Okay? If you're in your 30s, now all of a sudden, 500 is not going to cut it. So now you got to start with 1,000 per month for 30 years so it can become $6 million at age 60. Okay? At a 15% return. Are you going to achieve this by being lazy? I'm sorry, you're not. It takes research, hard work. Okay? Can I keep it real?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're in your 40s, now 500 is not going to cut it. 1,500 is not going to cut it. So you need to start budgeting hard. Now, if you're in your 40s, you need to contribute $1,500 per month for 25 years to accumulate $4.4 million at age 65. Okay? This is the only way to beat inflation. Now, here is one of the things I've been teaching on the last few financial classes that is revolutionary. Is $10,000 a lot of money to set up your children for life? No, it's not. Some of you all spend more on vacations. Come on. Okay. If when your child is born, you make a decision to write a $10,000 check and put it in an investment account that can yield at least 15% per year, which again, I told you it takes hard work. When they are 40 years old, those $10,000 became $2.6 million. And it was a one-time contribution. I didn't say 10,000 a month. I didn't say 10,000 a year. I didn't say 10,000 every 5 years. A one time. When the baby's born, you put 10,000. By the time they are 40 years old, Okay? By the time they're 40 years old, it's 2.6 million. If you didn't touch it and you left it growing another 10 years at 50, it's 10.8 million. It's called the power of compound interest. Research it. Don't believe me. Research it on your own. And if you don't touch it until she's 60, it becomes $43 million. Now let me teach you something that when I understood it, changed my mind. That brain emoji. I said, okay, well, God, if I set up my life, my daughter like this, when she gets up, let's just say 35 years old, and it's only 1 million, if you have learned to make 10 to 15% return on your capital, what is 10% of 1 million? 100,000. Do you think somebody can live on 100,000?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Yeah.
You just said that.
For a year.
You said like 100,000 is a-
Yeah. If you cannot live on 100,000, we got budget problem.
I don't think so because I'm close to that amount a year and I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. If you're not a good steward, you could have 2 million a year and
Yeah.
it won't be enough.
That's key, what she said. So yes, if you make 100,000 and you spend 100,000, you're just messed up. But if you've been diligent and you make 100,000 and you steward it right, it should be more than enough.
Yeah.
So through my prayer, I said, God, I want to set up my daughter, but I don't want to set her up to where she starts chewing at the principal. So at some point, I want to let her grow to where she only lives on less than the interest. Because then at that point, what do you think that wealth can grow for her children? We just went over that example. Right? And then her great-grandchildren. And that's why some people, they're called trust fund babies. Because the trust fund has a lot of millions. And they cannot even spend the interest on it.
Zeros.
That's how you play the game. That's how you do it. So again, that's how you grow wealth, but you gotta be intentional on the spending, the budget. Okay, you gotta be intentional in this. Because if you don't nail it here, like the sister here right said, she said, you make 100,000, you're gonna be broke if you don't tell your money what to do. Okay, so you gotta give every dollar a purpose. Okay? And so I don't even have time for that story, but I hope this blessed you. Again, throughout the entire journey, y'all, trust God. Like, generosity is going from me to we. Generosity is breaking the scarcity mindset, the orphan mindset, to saying, man, God has great things for me. I'm going to continue to trust Him, put Him first, give to my church, give to my family, give to my friends, give to my community. I'm going to a mission trip this year to El Salvador where I'm going to be building houses with a team of people here. Those are the things that you get to do
Yeah.
when you build wealth.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't wait so I can start taking my daughter on these mission trips. Because I got to show her, baby, you're very blessed. Let me teach you. Let me show you. Let me take you to the places where there's kids that don't even have a roof over their head. They don't even have something to eat. Do you think she's going to appreciate what she has? 100%. But you got to teach them. You're blessed, okay? So prayer throughout the whole journey, through your crypto investment, through your stocks, there's nothing like prayer, okay? Discernment, trust God along the way. And join the Money Voice group on Facebook if you haven't, okay? Go on Facebook, join the group. I'll continue to post stuff in there about crypto and stocks and different things. You have questions, that really is the best place to say, hey, Jacob, like you said, what platform do I use to buy Bitcoin or to buy crypto or to invest in stocks? What do you use? And then I can share some links with you, okay? If you want to get the link to the platforms that I use to trade crypto and stocks, text this number. Pull out your cell phone and text this number. The number is 817-856-2552. 817-856-2552. 2552 and just text saying, I want the info for crypto and stocks, and I'm gonna send you the platforms that I personally use to trade crypto and stocks. So, Kate, you have been such a blessing to us. Let's give him a hand clap back there. Kate, you've been